Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hope you're doing well. So, a lot of the MAGA people have been excited that Trump has made plastic straws have a comeback. Now, at first you may think, as some of those MAGA people pointed out, plastic straws are not a big deal. People fly in private jets is more of a big deal. China and India pollute more, so we should focus on that. But as I was kind of going through some research, I was looking at how single-use plastics that are not biodegradable, how they take over 400 years to go dilute down, to break down because bacteria can't munch on them. You begin to see that it is a problem. And then you see how the United States ships their garbage to third world countries, and then they burn the plastic. And then this creates obviously toxic fumes in the air and makes the local population suffer a lot of illnesses. And then, more and more now, people are discovering microplastics inside human organs. Microplastics in fish, and the fact that our seafood is dying out because of all the plastic. And yes, it is true, the fishing industry does pollute quite a lot. They leave their nets around, it's a disaster, right? And I was just beginning to think that at least there's these incremental steps towards getting rid of plastic where and when we can. Now, at first, okay, look, the plastic straws versus the paper straws. There are different brands who make pretty decent paper straws, okay? Today, my local cafe obviously uses the paper straws. And I didn't finish my iced vanilla latte. I usually make them at home, but I didn't finish it within the first hour. And it was still fine an hour and a half later. Now, where it gets weird is when you don't drink your drink right away, like 16 ounces, average, medium size. And then you go to stir, it might bend, but you can literally just swirl it like that. And you begin to see like, ever since that sea turtle who had a plastic straw stuck up its nose, people were realizing like, yeah, we do pollute quite a lot. And you only use a plastic straw a little bit, and then when you start looking at how we're not recycling as much as we should, and how landfills are constructed and operate, the sun and bacteria don't really get to reach the garbage before another layer is put on top of soil and whatever else they're gonna put. And you're like, this isn't sustainable. We're gonna have a problem eventually. And it seems that a lot of us Americans, we don't really realize how much we pollute. And I don't think it's wrong to say, hey, you can drink your drink under an hour and deal with the paper straw. Now, another thing is also, a lot of women don't want to mess up their lipstick, so they use a straw. And they sit with their cocktail and they want a plastic straw because they sip on their cocktail really slow, so as not to get a huge buzz too fast, and they prefer to have a plastic straw. So when you look at the deep dive side of it, it just comes down to the truth being they don't care about the environment, they don't care about recycling. It's the instant gratification, the here and now, let future generations deal with all the garbage. They're not burning garbage next to where I can get cancer, so who cares? I don't care about the ocean, so oh well. I just really can't believe how entitled and arrogant some Americans have become. Because since the Roaring 20s and then getting through the Great Depression and World War I and World War II, you can notice that Americans, since the 50s, they've enjoyed a bit of prosperity. Yes, poverty is still there, but they have enjoyed not having the toxic, cancer-causing pollutants in their communities. And it's more scary when you're the pregnant woman and you want to have a healthy baby and you're next to a place that burns garbage or isn't very safe and the water is polluted and you can't go catch fish because it's all sludge. It's all just a biohazard wasteland. See, the wealthy people for a time can afford the best fish from clean oceans, afford to go to the beaches that aren't filled with plastic garbage. You know, they're not the ones who have to break down a whale carcass and take all that plastic out of it. And so it's just me, I. And Americans have a particular brand of selfishness where they only care about themselves. And they only start to really care about something once it happens to them. And so for Trump to do something so stupid as to cause more plastic pollution, you can see that he's not a very good leader for the environment. And we Americans should have to care about the environment, because for now we have some decent waterways. We don't have garbage everywhere. Drug addicts do leave needles around. And not every place has the best recycling. But we've been able to manage to stay pretty clean in other areas. But if you take time to go down like garbage patch cleanups and what other countries deal with when waves come in and there's just garbage upon garbage, and then you see all the diseases that come, you're like, this is not good, and we need to do something about it. That's why, for example, there's been a couple restaurants who they used to use these fancy plastic containers for takeout, but they moved to the cardboard box types. Those small changes help minimize garbage. Other cafes, instead of offering plastic spoons, cutlery, they have bamboo ones, or ones that are biodegradable. So Trump could have done something to say, hey, you want something that's a little bit more firm, how about a bamboo straw? That'll biodegrade. That also helps the bamboo farmers to have some business, and it doesn't harm the environment. But to bring back those plastics, and then you think about how plastic is made, how it's just gonna rot there for years upon years. It's not being recycled, it's not being managed. That's not good. Out of sight, out of mind, they say. Now, I'm not a Greenpeace freak. I'm not somebody who is out there hugging trees and whatnot, even though trees I think are beautiful, and I always include a image at the end of my videos that says plant a tree. So I'm not saying like I'm this huge advocate who is living a 100% sustainable lifestyle, maybe one day. But I do think that how you use your dollar makes a huge difference when it comes to plastic pollution. And more now, you begin to realize that people are developing different types of cancer, different types of deformities, and then you realize that the chemicals used in plastic that leach out, BPA was a big one. People started to realize that BPA, which is found in a lot of plastics, and then also in tin can linings, is not safe for people. And then you learn how different plastic chemicals make men have a micro penis. You're like, huh, okay, this isn't good. We need to do something about this. So it just shows me how really stupid a lot of conservatives are in America. The fact that they want to get involved in Gaza, send troops to die for the is not reallys, to do an ethnic cleansing with American tax dollars, so American tax dollars paid to bombard it and ruin it. Now we will also pay to fix their area, even though we can't fix Philly, Los Angeles, Chicago, Vallejo, Oakland, Richmond. The cities go on and on. Detroit, subhanallah. And then you look at just the fact that you'd want to add more garbage to the world, and this makes the MAGA crowd cheer because they're so pretentious, they're so coddled, so posh, that they're so fragile, they cannot handle a paper straw, cardboardish type of fibrous material. And they're supposed to be the tough bushcraft farming types. Just having a straw, if you think about it, it's a luxury. And if you take time to watch these travelers who go to other countries that are less developed, and you see the garbage everywhere, the lack of functioning sanitation services, you begin to realize, like, we really got to be careful, because we're getting more and more diseases now. That brings pests, mosquitoes, rats, mice, just all these different health issues. So I don't agree with the bringing back the plastic straws. I remember Tommy Lahren was a whiner and was like, my straw is melting in my drink. And it's like, okay, lady, we get you're super posh, you have a coddled life, alright, you're wealthy, but maybe you should start to care about something more than how much makeup you put on your face, and should maybe take a tour and see how many countries are struggling with handling the vast amounts of garbage, and how we should take care of the planet. I'm not a climate change weirdo. That's out of my wheelhouse. But I do think pollution and plastic problems need to be solved, and we have to get on that pretty quick. And then, you get into the fast garment industry and how many clothes, their microfibers get into the water because they're not made from cotton, they're made from synthetic materials. You begin to be like, wow, man, the future generations are going to have some serious problems. And the fact that so many people are struggling with infertility, you begin to really see the connections with microplastics, plastic pollution, plastic production, plastic burning. And you're like, we want to go to Mars, but we can't fix the pollution problem. Isn't that weird? Let me know what you think. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Join the blog.